Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from a throwaway account who says, Am I the arsehole for selling my daughter's iPad? In March 2018, my daughter 16 bought an iPad. She bought it with her own Christmas money. She is a wonderful artist, but I believe she is limiting her potential. She has made money from it, as a little over a month ago, she's requested work on Instagram. She has a substantial amount of followers on it, 10k, and has made just under £100. It's nice that she's doing this, but it is making me worry. She does well in school, but all she is doing at the minute is drawing. I understand she has a hobby and people are paying her money. It is good, but I don't like what she draws either. It is not explicit in any sense, but I don't believe she is pushing herself. She has so much talent, and because she's drawing so much recently, she's neglecting her duties such as doing homework. I tried getting across to her that school is important. I came out with good grades and now I'm an accountant. I worked hard at school by doing homework the first day I got it. I went to many extracurriculars and I was a star student. If I could do it 30 years ago, she can do it now. I have a rule of no technology until after dinner, but recently I found out she's been using her iPad before dinner. I took her iPad away from her and told her she knew the rules. Before dinner is for homework only. But she complained because we have dinner at 7 to 7:30 p.m. and she goes to bed at 9:30, which doesn't give her enough time for her to make her art for her customers since she also has to shower. It seems that everything has been revolving around her iPad and I've had enough. On Friday, I had overtime at work. I left the key for her and told her to do her chores. I came home to see that she hadn't done her work and she came to me with a happy face. She had just been commissioned again and she was receiving £50 for it. I flipped. We had the biggest argument we'd ever had. My daughter accused me of not supporting her, which I do, but her education comes first, and I'm sick and tired of her games. She cannot make a living from her art, and this social media thing is poisoning her. She knows the rules in my house, and she must stick to it. She retaliated that now she's making money, I won't need to nag at her like what I do. She finally has a good job, and she's making more money from this than what she did on her paper round. She can put this money towards her college fund. I took her iPad and flat out told her, I'm selling it. She has to delete her Instagram and refund that new customer. She's been crying and wailing, accusing me of not loving her and twisting my words. She told the story to her auntie, and now I have her berating me too. Nobody seems to understand that my daughter is obsessed with this iPad. Her excuse is that she's making money, and I tell her there is no use making money now if you can't make it in the future. Am I the arsehole? Edit. I have not yet sold the iPad. It is with me. However, I have put it up on eBay this morning, before I post it on here. Some of you are seriously making me reconsider, but my decision still stands. I want what is best for my daughter, so that in 10 years she can afford to draw all day and comfortably lounge at home and make money. This all just feels like control for me. I get absolutely wanting the best for your child in any situation, but this so feels like control. These were my footsteps, you need to follow in them. Every compliment towards your daughter seems to be followed with a but. I believe she's limiting her potential. The fact that you don't nurture her talent and tell her how good she is and be proud of what she's doing is just, it's mind-blowing for me, honestly. She sounds like she's grown something, you know, her Instagram following and getting commissions at 16 years old should be, you know, she should be incredibly proud of herself. And I absolutely agree there should be a balance, but there's a way to approach that. And, you know, your way just sounds controlling to me. And then taking away her iPad and selling her iPad, which she bought with her own money, and to refund the customers. It just feels that all she's being taught here is, you know, her own initiative, and the success she's got from it is going to be punished if it doesn't fit your narrow view. But Juliet Rose says, you're the arsehole, you're the arsehole, you're the arsehole. The big triple. As an accountant, an auditor, and someone who has a side hustle doing digital art commissions, I'm genuinely disgusted at your actions. My parents were the same, not allowing me to do art, so I did it in secret for 3 years, and until now, they still don't know that I do it. You're the arsehole if it isn't clear enough. Lol, good luck keeping your relationship with your daughter. Hope you enjoy it when she cuts contact because you deserve it. Edit. On a side note, I hope she files a police report against you for theft, because that is what I would do if it happened to me. Family Failure says you're the arsehole, taking away the one thing she enjoys and looks forward to in her day. That gives her validation. Your rosy future won't happen. She will sabotage her school to spite you. She will ruin things because you ruin things for her. Also, not everyone's good at maths. So what? Not everyone has to be an accountant. Let her be. Plenty of time for her to decide her career. Not you. King Darius says you're the arsehole, and what you're doing is likely going to result in your daughter not talking to you as an adult, and or resenting you for the rest of her life. Another commenter says you're the arsehole. It's her property that she bought with her own money. Confiscating it so you can put your rules as a parent in place is one thing. Selling it is stealing. We as parents do not do that to our teenagers if we entertain any idea of them wanting a close relationship with us, not only during the tumultuous time of the teenage years, but into their adult life. A 16-year-old going to bed at 9:30 barely leaves enough time to do the typical homework load, which by this age can be 3 to 4 hours a night without any extra studying. So it's no wonder she's prioritizing short-term money from commissions over plans for long-term success. Homework. If you want her to do her homework and be able to continue to explore art for commission, help her work out a plan and schedule to fit both into her time. Help her learn to prioritize which homework and studying gets done first, so the studying she does is focused and efficient. Help her work out a commission a realistic time frame to do them in, a waiting list with a cutoff point, etc. Many artists throw all they have right into it, and it is not sustainable. Help her rather than be a lazy parent focused on a punishment-only response to failure. And one more comment from Vixen, who quotes saying about she bought the iPad with her own money and says, "Honestly, that's all I needed to read. You're the arsehole. Do not sell things that do not belong to you. You're an adult. Act like it. If you want her to do her homework, then make her do it and give her the iPad back when she proves she did them. If you can't stand hearing about the iPad, tough luck. There are worse things in the world. Deal with it." And quotes saying she cannot make a living from her art, and then says, "Yet here she is, making money. There is no reason why she can't pursue art as a career. You said it yourself, she has talent. It's tough, yes, but not impossible. She does not need to be an accountant to have a valid career choice. Give her the damn iPad back, stop being grumpy about her having a hobby and making money off of it, and stick by your rules instead of giving up on them because you're tiring of hearing about it." So 3 weeks after that, OP came in with their update and says, "It's been almost 3 weeks since I last posted. And after many requests, I am reluctantly making an update. The day after the incident, I sent my daughter, Eve, to stay with her auntie. She took her school clothes and she stayed from Monday to Friday. During that time, I reflected on my actions and I weighed out different situations and my approach. When Eve came home on Friday, we had a long conversation and tried hearing from her point of view. I had over 100 messages, many threatening, however one stuck out to me. Someone kindly messaged me and gave me a solution to my issue. They suggested that instead of banning Eve from Instagram, I see her process, watch what she does and figure out how she can organize herself efficiently. When she came home, I brought down her iPad, which was still up for sale for another 2 days, and she informed me of what she did and how, while also hearing her side of the story. I found out that many of her commissions do not come from Instagram, but instead another networking communication app, Discord. I was annoyed that she was using something other than Instagram and hadn't asked me for permission. I followed her process, and for an hour we talked of business. I explained her the things she could do to improve, work on her schedule, and how she can reach more people. By that time I allowed her to keep Instagram, and I'd let her know on my decision with the iPad. On the Saturday, a week after I posted, I checked the eBay bid. It had reached £310, which I was astounded by because I was expecting around 200. I told my daughter my decision. I was selling the iPad. What worried me about her use of the iPad was that it was a 10-inch screen, and staring at it for several hours was unhealthy. So instead I thought of a different approach. I asked her that we could either sell the iPad and I'd be willing to put the money towards a new, larger one for Christmas, or I can buy her something else. We talked and she decided on a new iPad. It's been 2 weeks and we've sold the iPad. I've sorted her a new schedule so that after 6 PM, she can go on a technology compared to the old rule of technology after dinner. I've also had some feedback regarding her sleep schedule. Eve goes to bed at 9:30 simply because she's a pain to get up in the morning. She finds great enjoyment of making herself presentable and wakes up at 6:30 every day. And I'm the one who wakes her up. Going to bed at 9:30 means she gets the most rest, and it won't be a hassle in the morning. Now on a Saturday and Sunday, she can access her technology after she's done all her chores. However, she has a limit of 4 hours before she has to get off them. I'm currently looking for a new iPad for her, so for now she's not been drawing. I will have something ready before Christmas, but I'm looking for assistance on what is suitable. And as you can imagine, the comments absolutely exploded after this. Loptastic says, my heart was breaking in the original post, but was encouraged to see an update. My heart is now completely in shambles all over the floor. That poor girl is stuck with this monster. I sincerely hope that eBay money will be put towards an upgraded iPad. I'm not sure myself. I'm side-eyeing that the way he was astounded by, how much extra money it was getting. And it was almost like that's what influenced his decision in the end. Brown hair, curly hair says, I have a feeling she will make a mistake, and he decides not to buy her a new one. The whole time I was reading it, I was thinking, oh fuck, she's falling for it. Another user says, I'm confused at why she can't use the iPad for drawing. Why would you prefer she draw on paper? Also, if she bought the iPad herself, why are you selling it and keeping the money? What is she using to draw while the iPad is waiting to be replaced? I'd understand if the issue was only health related, but it sounds like she's doing fine using it. You only have an issue because she broke the rule about the times to use it, and you not being able to control her actions on it, and not liking her artwork. I understand your concern of the internet, but I can see why people are calling you controlling. I'd also add that you aren't being honest about why you don't want her to have the iPad, since the reason has changed several times. I'm glad you're willing to talk to your daughter now. I hope you replace the iPad sooner rather than later. Mayors Funny says, you are officially a terrible person. You make Harry Potter's aunt and uncle look like good, caring parents. Another user says you're the arsehole still. Reading the story, I thought, okay, this is perfectly acceptable for him to have this set of rules for his 12-year-old here. Then went and read the original story and saw that she is 16. This is ridiculous. First, I don't see how it's wrong for her to sell art commissions. It's a healthy hobby and most 16-year-olds should have a job, so this seems like a very positive thing for her. All 16-year-olds have smartphones and social media. Thus is extreme helicopter parenting that results in harm because your child will be very behind and unprepared for adulthood when it comes. Just the way that you speak in your post the entire time, like, I sent my daughter to stay with her auntie, and how you're the one who wakes her each morning. And such, it's very clear that you see her as a very young child and treating her as such. She's 16, almost an adult. 16-year-olds drive and work and hang with friends. Failure says, presumably you're going to give her the money from the sale of the iPad, or put it towards a new iPad. Please tell me you are. Opie says, I'm buying her a new iPad with the money. I've been looking into Wacom and their products, and with the extra boost of the £300, I can afford to buy something worth $600 to $700. And Azu replies to that saying, you're the arsehole. Wacom standalone products suck chestnuts, and the only good ones, you need a PC setup. The unofficial industry standard for digital artists, the ones that don't have real jobs apparently, is an iPad, Apple Pencil, and Procreate. You made us sell a perfect tool, and you plan on getting us something worse. Why? Because the screen is too small. Pfft, I hate to break it to you, unless you're willing to splurge on the 12.9-inch Pro, $1,000, you're looking at 11 inches, 800-ish, and the 10-inch she already had. You just wanted to swing around your BDE when you have no clue what you're currently doing. As a digital artist myself, if you have the skill and work it right, you can make good money. But I have a feeling that as long as she's living under your roof, she won't get a chance to flourish. Again, it just felt more about control in that post, that, he was annoyed that she was using another social media platform that she didn't ask for permission for, and then you followed her process. But it's the way it came across in the post, it might be text format, came across in such an awkward and weird way, like you're lording it over her in some kind of way. When in reality, she has a lot more experience and probably knows a lot more about what she is doing in her particular field than you do. She clearly knows how to market her social medias with the following that she had already. But it just came across, like I said in the first post, you followed her process and you talked for an hour of business. And then there was the but I explained what she could do to improve. There was no saying to her, like, I'm really proud of you for what you're doing, but, can we talk about a schedule or something along those lines? Because I'm just worried about your health and your schooling, etc. It was just like, I explained the things she could improve, work on her schedule, then fucking sold her iPad. You bloody Burke. That's incredibly frustrating. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is going to come from the Petty Revenge subreddit from a deleted user and said, my last glorious day as a Starbucks barista. This might be more malicious compliance, but it works here and my post there got zero traction, so I'll try here. Lol. I used to be a Starbucks barista. We had a woman who would come in every morning and order. I shit you not, a double tall vanilla latte with 3/8 a pump of vanilla. Not half a pump, 3/8 a pump. She even made one of the baristas mark our bottle pump with a Sharpie. Every single day the first cup we would make, no matter who made it, was always wrong. Either too sweet or not sweet enough. So after a while I began to just pretend to make another drink. Pull the steam wand and wave my hands about like a fool behind the machine. I would hand her back the same drink we made her the first time, and it was always perfect the second time, even though it was the same drink. On my last day of work, this woman decided to come in twice that day. She was being over obnoxious and talking on her cell phone about deals and her assistant, and essentially just announcing her importance to everyone in the room. It was 3 o'clock. In the spring, and the place was filled with teenagers ordering frappuccinos. I had both blenders going and both steam wands going when this woman decided to yell at me, God, I can barely hear myself think. So I replied, funny, I can still hear you complaining. Ooh, spicy. If you knew me, you'd know I have the perfect facial expressions to go with it. I looked like a snarky little shit. I told her I'd been handing her back the same drink every morning for over a year too. I said verbatim, kind of embarrassing now that you know, right? 3/8 is half a pump for all intents and purposes here, ma'am. And she lost it. She demanded my manager fire me on the spot or she'd call corporate and we'd lose her business. Blah, blah, blah. I hated my manager. He was the opposite of a spirit of the rules / law kind of person and really enjoyed making our lives more difficult than they needed to be. I knew that firing me actually reflects quite negatively on his quarterly reviews and knew he wouldn't do it. He told her it was my last day and the best he could do was send me home early, which would be a reward rather than a punishment since the store was so busy. She proceeded to spend the next 2 hours on hold with corporate outside, then when corporate either accidentally hung up on her or told her to shove it, she threw her glasses, called me a little bitch in front of a ton of kids and ran to her car. To her husband, so sorry for that night, bro. Totally my fault. Edit. She was offered a gift card, I think, but this lady was universally disliked by employees and customers alike. Edit 2. Thank you so much for the responses. It warms my heart to see people appreciate this story as much as I do. My people, Mighty Morphin Retail Rangers. There is nothing quite like when you know you're going to be leaving or quitting a job soon or you handed in your notice, and the place isn't particularly great anyway and you're treated like shit there. This wave of the I don't give a fuck attitude seems to kick in. I remember when I was in a warehouse job and the owner there was a total prick. His dad owned the company before him. His dad still came in, didn't actually work there, but he'd come and walk around and inspect everyone doing their jobs, almost like it was like an army barracks or something. Like you'd see him, oh, quick, fucking, this guy's coming, let's pick up a broom and do some work. And he'd watch you. He'd watch you sweeping the floor for about 10 minutes. But anyway, that guy passed the business down to his son. The son was more of a knobhead than he was. He'd talk like this, chap, I need you to do this, chap. I mean, he used to get the guy who drove the forklift, and this guy used to kiss his ass anyway, to wash his car on a summer's day. And the guy would bloody do it. No extra pay, just go and wash his car. But one day I was stood in the warehouse and I was doing some sort of like maintenance on the forklift, and I was topping up the battery cells on the forklift with like a distilled water pump we had on the wall. And in comes Captain Dickhead, comes walking over. Chap, what are you doing with the forklift? I said, I'm just topping up the battery cells. No. Should you be fucking doing that? I was like, literally, it's a part of my job. And in my mind the whole time I'm thinking, why the fuck are you poking your nose in, you know? Go and do what you need to do somewhere else. But then tried explaining the process of what I need to be doing, how far I need to top them up. His language towards me at the same time, like he was saying, you need to fucking top them up to like really almost aggressive. So I could just remember turning around to him and saying, I can't remember the exact words, but it was like, I gave him the little pump thing and I said, look, you fucking top him up then. And then I walked off, and I can just remember him as I sort of like wandered out of the warehouse. Just remember looking back and he was just staring at me, and I thought, oh, fuck me. If I wasn't leaving, I'd be sacked now. But I think he was just being literally a dick anyway because I was leaving. That place is wild as well. There was so much weird shit that went on there. That forklift guy, I got some stories about him. He was a weird guy. The dad, the old guy who wandered around, you know, he's a bit doddery. And one day, one of the printing presses like caught fire. Some paper got jammed and there was like oil or something underneath the press, and it just literally went up in flames. The whole place had to be shut down for weeks afterwards. But as this fire was going on, this guy wanders into the warehouse. There was like smoke just pouring out the doors, and he had to be dragged out of there. Anyway, I'm going off as usual. What do you guys make of today's stories? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so, so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.